Let's talk about some rookies in the upcoming draft that should have an immediate impact in 2024. Number one on my list, this should come as no surprise, it's probably number one on a lot of people's lists, but Marvin Harrison Jr. This guy is going to hit the ground running. When we think of Iowa, we think of tight end university. When we think of Ohio State, we should start thinking wide receiver university. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, and now Marvin Harrison, who in my opinion has a really good chance to be the best receiver among the group. Over the last 2 years, he's really established himself as the best receiver in college football, and last year he was awarded the Fred Biletnikoff Award, which goes to the best wide receiver in college, so he's definitely cemented as one of the greatest receivers in college football history. Last year he finished with 67 receptions for 1,211 yards and 14 touchdowns. He also had one rushing touchdown, and this was all in 12 games. And the previous year, he had 77 grabs for 1,263 yards and also 14 touchdowns. So he's been very consistent, and the only thing that held him back in his first year was playing time because he was behind all of those great receivers. He's projected to be a lock top 5 pick. In my opinion, I could see him being a top 3 pick. In an ideal situation, he would go to the Arizona Cardinals. That would be a great fit in my opinion. Him, Marquise Brown, Trey McBride, and James Conner would form a really formidable quartet. And I could see them doing damage this year if they all stay healthy. But even if he doesn't go to the Cardinals and lands with the Commanders, the Bears, or the Patriots, he is definitely going to be their number one option. More than likely, offenses will be designed around him and his skill set. At 6'4", 205, he's a bit slight, but he's very much an ex-receiver. He's very athletic, has great ball skills, great footwork, great athleticism, can be a vertical threat. He can really do it all. And if he can put on a good 10-15 pounds, he could be unstoppable. In my opinion, I don't think he'll fall past the second round in fantasy drafts. So if you are one of the people that want to take a chance on a really high upside rookie, he is definitely the player to take it on. Next on my list is Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is cemented as one of, if not the greatest tight end in college football history, and he has the accolades to back it up. Winning the John Mackey Award 2 years in a row, he finished his career at Georgia inside of the top 5 all time across most major receiving categories. At 6'4", 240 with a 4.5 speed, he is a matchup nightmare for linebackers. And with the way the NFL is moving, it wouldn't be surprising to see him being utilized pretty heavily. He can block, but he's definitely more of a pass catcher. And as we saw this year, Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid even had a really big impact on their team. And even a lot of second-year guys had good impacts. Think about Trey McBride or Jake Ferguson. And there were even some second-round guys from this year that did pretty well. Think about Luke Musgrave or even Michael Mayer. With him, he brings a very impressive resume to the NFL. He finished his career at Georgia with 175 receptions. He had over 2,500 receiving yards. He also had 26 receiving touchdowns. And he also rushed for nearly 200 yards and had 5 rushing touchdowns. He's a threat no matter where he lines up, and I think whoever does draft him will definitely tap into that skill set. I don't see him falling outside of the top 20 in the first round, but I think an ideal spot for him would be Cincinnati. Cincinnati has never really had stability at the tight end position, at least not for a number of years, going back to Tyler Eifert, CJ Uzomah, Hayden Hurst, and most recently Irv Smith Jr. And they're all talented, but they either haven't been healthy or been productive enough to keep the position for more than a few years. And with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins kind of exchanging injuries over the last couple of years, they could use another surefire pass catcher. Tyler Boyd's also getting older. He's still talented, but I think with Joe Burrow in his prime, the Bengals are going to do everything they can to take advantage of this window now. Last on my list is Rome Odunze. Odunze was Michael Penix's number one option all year, and he finished his career at Washington with an exclamation. He had 81 receptions, went for over 1,400 yards, and had 13 receiving touchdowns. And at 6'3", 215, he should definitely have an impact wherever he gets drafted. He's more of a gamer than a finesse player. He's demonstrated good yards after the catch ability and also is great at contested balls. And he's kind of a bully. So I think whoever does take him will be getting a little bit more of an old school wide receiver. I could see him landing on a team like the Jets, who in my opinion would probably be best suited to invest in the offensive line, but I could see them trying to find another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. And if he played across Garrett Wilson, this could be a pretty dynamic duo. The Jets never really backfilled Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, or even Denzel Mims. And while Tyler Conklin is talented, he's not going to pose the same type of threat or fear in defenses that Odunze would. Another potential landing spot that I like would be Chicago. If him and DJ Moore got paired up, that could also be a very dynamic duo. But wherever he does get drafted, I think his talent will definitely show quickly, and he'll get on the field often. Those are 3 rookies to remember heading into next year's fantasy season. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on which rookies we should keep in mind in the comments below.